Music has always been an extraordinary passion of mine. It's how I started in this industry as a young person. And
Right.
I feel like it's also a touchstone in my life. It's something I'll always come back to. I'll always pick up again and find a way for it to sort of figure into my life.
You're partnering up with Karina Catchild to celebrate the brand's 60th anniversary. So, what can you tell us about this partnership?
Yeah, I mean, I am a fervent cat lover. I grew up with cats.
Yeah.
They were my childhood pets. I have three rescue cats now, Fig, Peanut, and Olivia. They're a very, very important part of my life. So it was a no-brainer when I was approached by Cat Chow to help them celebrate their 60th anniversary, if you can believe that. So they obviously understand the profound impact that cats can have on all of our lives for those of us that know and love cats. And to
Yeah.
celebrate, we're actually searching for personal stories from cat owners. So cat owners, young and old, speaking about how cats have positively impacted their lives and the lives of their families. And Cat Chow is actually going to select 60 of those stories, compile them into a book. And the storytellers that are selected are going to receive a copy of the book, a year supply of cat chow, and then one lucky storyteller also gets a $10,000 cash prize. So it's a big deal. I mean, again, for those of us who know cats and have cats in our lives, I could tell you a million stories. I could bore you with a million stories. So it's like, I feel like this is a no-brainer for folks to be able to log on to catchow.com/60years. I believe it's now through August 13th to submit their story.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds amazing. And you
Yeah.
mentioned that you're a mom, the three rescue
And
cats. How much have they impacted your life?
I mean, they've had a tremendous impact. I feel like for all of us too, who've sort of spent a lot of time at home these last few years, it really
Hmm.
cemented this bond between us and really cemented this bond before we had this monumental shift in our household where we had our own children. We started our family. So it's like now to be able to see the interaction between our boys and the kitties and how much they love them and how much they light up when they're in the same room is just, it's incredibly special.
Of course. And speaking of being a mom, you just had your second son last year. How
Yeah.
is it? Yeah. How's it been being a mother of two young boys?
Oh, it's a lot. As anyone with like two under two will tell you, it's definitely like we have our hands full. We're in it right now. People are like, oh, you're potty training and you have a teething baby. I'm like, yeah, we're like barely treading water, staying above water. But I mean, also, as any parent can tell you, it's like it's the most heart expanding, incredible thing I've ever been lucky enough to get to witness in my life. It's like just everything shifts. Everything's about the family. I love my job. I love what I do. It's a huge part of my identity, but it's like I think I will always identify as mom first forevermore.
Of course. And with that, would you like to have more children down the road, or are you just enjoying having two boys right now,
I
along
don't
with your
know.
cats?
We are
Yeah.
we are so overwhelmed right now that
Yeah.
two may be the magic number, but who knows? I think the door is still open. But yeah, we have three cats, one dog, two little boys. So our household is definitely like we're firing on all cylinders right now. But yeah, we're
Yeah.
very grateful and lucky.
I didn't know you had a dog. How's the dog getting along with the three cats?
Oh, he loves them. I mean, he's very sweet. He's our older gentleman. He's 13. So
Okay.
but he's been around cats his whole life. We had cats before him. We adopted cats after him. So he's very well aware and used to being in a household with cats. And he knows that they write the rules and he just adheres to them.
Of course. And,
Yeah.
a little over a year ago, you released your seventh studio album called In Real Life.
Yeah.
Um, where does that album rank where's the album rank for you when it comes to your other six?
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. Like, music has always been an extraordinary passion of mine. It's how I started in this industry as a young person. And
Right.
I feel like it's also a touchstone in my life. It's something I'll always come back to. I'll always pick up again and find a way for it to sort of figure into my life. And I'm also married to a musician, an incredibly like prolific musician and writer who's constantly writing and creating and playing. So it's like that through line is in our house and in our lives in such a real way as well. So I'm very proud of the music, especially these last two records that I've made. It sort of it came during a real lull in making
Mhm.
music for me. There was almost a 10-year break, I believe, between records. I put out an album in 2020, right before the pandemic. We were
Yeah.
about to go on tour, and then the pandemic sort of shut the world down. And then In Real Life came out last year, as you said, and I was pregnant, and so I didn't get to sort of like see through the tour in the way that I really wanted to. But I love performing live. It's an aspect of my job and my identity and my personality that I feel like I don't necessarily get to touch with any other part of my job as a creative person. It's something that just feels so intrinsically different, and just, yeah, it's something differently I'm able to tap into creatively. So I know it'll always be a part of my life somehow, and I'm just excited that like I still get the opportunity to do it in one way or another.
Of course. And so, because of the pandemic in 2020 and because of you being pregnant last year,
Yeah.
are you planning to go back on tour anytime soon?
I think I need to like work on some new music, and then a tour will
Yeah.
sort of follow. Like, to be able to go out on the road and showcase new music is kind of the whole point. So yeah, I think once
Yeah.
there's some new music in the can, getting back out on the road and figuring out how it could factor in into our lives now with two children, we'll have to be smart about that, because I'm lucky to make music with my husband, so it means mom and dad are gone, and it feels legitimately overwhelming to think about taking them on the road. We took our little guy with us when he was like 15 months old and I was pregnant for
Yeah.
the last tour, and that was really, really hard.
Oh, I
Trying to get a
bet.
baby to sleep on a tour bus was
Mm,
just, yeah, it was challenging. So we'll have to figure out how that makes sense in our life now. But yes, at some point I'll get back out on the road.
absolutely. And it's been 24 years since your first album was released. And yeah, yeah, I
I'm
was just
old.
looking at nah, not at all. But what would
It's
you
okay.
say would be your favorite, or just a couple of favorite moments from your music career?
I mean, it's so wild to think back. It was such a like a place in time, the late 90s, early 2000s, and
Yeah.
what the world looked like, what the music industry looked like. I mean, it's unthinkable, really. Everything has shifted in such a monumental way. It's just a completely different world out there. So thinking back to like the days of MTV and music videos and hosting shows and like my gosh, like touring with the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Like there was a real period and chapter of my life that almost feels as if somebody else lived it. I can't wait to like tell my kids about it one day and show them pictures. I'm not sure it will
Yeah.
translate or resonate in any real way, but um, even talking about it now, it just, yeah, it feels like it happened to someone completely outside of myself. So those are things that I'll never ever forget, because it's such a specific period in pop culture as well that like just doesn't the landscape doesn't look like that anymore. This was
You're
pre
absolutely.
social media, pre
Mhm.
9/11, like it was a different world in every way.
You're absolutely right. And one last question for me before I let you go. You talk about making new music. Um, do you have an idea of what your new album will be, what the theme will be, what direction you'll go when it comes to your new music?
I mean, it's so hard to pinpoint before like the writing process has really started. I mean, I know being a
Yeah,
parent and what my life looks like now, and the lens from which I approach my life and make decisions, and what's important and what's not, and what you're okay to sort of like leave by the wayside. Like, it's such a chemically life altering experience in every way that like I feel like I have brand new tools in my toolbox now that I'm sure will impact the way I write music and what I choose to sing about. And yeah, it's like it's less about me now. And so I hope that I'm able to like I hope I'm able to bring that angle into what I write about moving forward.
absolutely. Well, Mandy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I
you.
really do appreciate it. Continued success to you.